We were gods, and we shall be gods again. Literally, will be angels in fleshly bodies. The bodies that we're going to get is going to be of a much higher grade than the body we're in now. Absolutely. We're going to get those indestructible bodies. You know, bodies that are able to travel into outer space, because we're going to go in outer space. Yahushua made the statement. He said, in my Father's house are many mansions. What does that mean? That means other planets. We're going to be able to travel to other planets, and we won't need no space apparatus like you see Esau has.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
Yahushua given us those immortal bodies. So what do you think that means? That means that we're going to be gods. Meaning we're not going to get sick. We're not going to get old. We're not going to die. We're going to be like gods. That word God, when you go into Hebrew, the word there's Elohim, which means powers. Now let's not forget, brothers, the name Israel means in the Hebrew, Yashra Allah means he, Prince, power. Literally means he, Prince, power. In other words, a God.
You got it, bro.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, the house of David. I'm the brother Halak, and to my right,
I'm the brother Aina.
And we're coming to you with a video called The Slow Inheritance. And the reason why it's called The Slow Inheritance is because the inheritance we're coming into has to be slow. It has to be slow, because if it were given to us quickly, it would destroy us. We would have destroyed ourselves, just like we did in the ancient times. Mm-hmm. The reason why we're over here in strangers' land under captivity is because we did not appreciate what we had. Mm-hmm. See, nowadays you hear brothers speak about having your own land, having your own, your own agriculture, your own cattle, your own vineyards, your own stuff. There's things we took for granted when we were back in our own land. Now we don't even have our own. We don't have our own land. We don't have our own system. We don't have our own place to call our own. We have to live under another man's laws, another man's system, another man's way of living. You see? But now we desired what we had back then,
Also, it's just like, you said it's slow inheritance. If you look at, think about you see a lot of these arrogant asshole ass Edomites who their family may have, gave them something, handed it down to them. Well, they don't ever appreciate it. If you always, even with these TV shows, you always look at like maybe that child who grew up rich. I think it was a trend for a while with like 50 Cent son was like he felt like he had to work because his daddy was a millionaire. Jake don't when you don't put any work towards it, or you haven't shedded your own blood, sweat, and tears, then you don't really appreciate what you're getting. You don't appreciate that inheritance. You don't appreciate that reward.
And through this slow inheritance, we're learning to be wise and just judges. We're learning the way to live, the way things should be from the lower perspective. You know, you give me Proverbs chapter 20 verse 21.
Come.
You know, we're learning through this slow inheritance. We're being fashioned to be proper rulers.
Mhm.
You know, this is not no in and out thing. It's not quick. It's not quick. You know,
Mhm.
because it was quick. If you try making something quick, it's gonna be half done. You know, you'll probably get food poisoning.
Mhm.
It'll be brittle. It'll be nigger rigged.
Mhm.
You know, easy to crumble. You know.
I mean, it's just like with building too. Like our brothers out with those men were builders. So when you building something, that foundation and every single part of that building, all the way up until whatever it's for, whether it be a house or a commercial building or whatever, and each one of those different things, you have to respect the process.
Mm.
And that's one thing that we learn to do when it comes to that word from Yahweh Bashim Shah is respect the process.
Mm.
Like the brothers Corner Ayash had in a video that he was going into. I think he said it earlier. I brought it out when we was on the live. He was saying that we're learning the process of Yahweh Shema Shah. And when you have that inheritance, you learn to respect the process. You learn when you go through these things, you learn to respect the different avenues, respect everything that has to go into what you're doing, the reasoning. You know, whether you may not understand it or not, because the reasoning might come on down the line. You know, understand it. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and get the precept. You got some?
You got it.
This is Proverbs 20 and 21. It says, "An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed."
Because you gotten it so quickly and so hastily, you don't know how to take care of it. You don't know how to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to fully operate it. So what at the end of it, it's gonna be a total mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be mess. Just look at what happened in our kingdom when we had it. We allowed all these other idols in. We allowed all these other philosophy in. You know, things Yahweh Shema Shah said we should not partake in. You know, and what we destroyed ourselves. We ended up over here.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up kicked out of the land because we broke the house rules.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because we went about it too hastily.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it says. Go ahead, you got it.
That's like you giving you giving a task, clean this, and I reward you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just gonna be a day thing. If you is gonna get the reward the next day, of course you gonna maintain it because you ain't got to do nothing to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta leave it there. But if he says when you come back 2 or 3 years later, then he will reward you for how well you taking care of this certain thing. Not many people gonna be there to obtain that reward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because what people become slothful, people become lackadaisical, people are not too mindful.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna show who's has the proper character to earn that reward.
Mm-hmm. And NLT says an inheritance obtained too early in life is not a blessing in the end. If you look at when you had a king, well, his son couldn't just, you know, he had to go through do some stuff. Also, he had to be of a certain age. You know, there are a lot of things that had to be done before, you know, a person got the throne. You know, before that transition of power. You know, even us in this time, if Yahweh Shema Shah, it's like if Yahweh gave Yahweh Shah the word and Allah him to just come on and do it now, then hey, it wouldn't you know it wouldn't go the way it's supposed to go. You know, ultimately it's gonna be his timing. You know what I'm saying? Even if it does, whenever he does, that's gonna be the perfect timing. But I'm saying anything outside of that time that Yahweh Shema Shah has set, hey, it's not gonna go how it's supposed to go because he's already set that perfect timing of how it's supposed to go. He's already set when we're gonna inherit the kingdom. He's already set when we're gonna get those new bodies. You know, it was already said in the beginning that we were gonna have to go through this to make us better rulers, as you say. You know,
it's like imagine giving a 13. There's a difference. Imagine giving a 13-year-old $1,000 compared to a 20-year-old or 30-year-old. It's gonna be major difference in what they buy and how they utilize that $1,000. Why?
Cookies, ice cream, cakes,
Games.
candy. The gas station really love him.
There's a difference because it what? Experience. That 30 or 20-year-old went through experience of life. Now he has a better mindset, a better condition on how to utilize that amount of money compared to someone like a 13-year-old who just received it too quickly.
You ain't got no bills.
You end up destroying yourself. You know? You can give me Romans chapter 5. We'll start from verse 1. We're gonna read down to 4.
This is Romans chapter 5, verse 1. This is Romans chapter 5 starting at verse 1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with the Most High through our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach.
Because of Yahushua and what he did for us, we're able to what? To make ourselves ready to receive that inheritance. Why? Because of that grace, this grace period. Because of this grace period. We at peace with Yahweh Shem Shai, so we can get it right. Continue.
Verse 2, it says, by whom also we have assessed by faith into this grace wherein we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of the Most High.
We're hoping in receiving that kingdom, receiving that power, the new bodies, an everlasting kingdom. Continue.
Verse 3, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulations work patience, and patience experience, and experience hope, and hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of the Most High is shed abroad in our hearts by the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Holy Spirit, which is giving unto us.
You see all these things we're going through. What? It's helping us become a better ruler, a better, making us see if wickedness keep going, this is going to happen. It'd be better to set these laws up to keep that from happening. Because we go through the tribulations, we will mess up, be like, dang,
that shit hurt.
You like, dang, man. And what you say, okay, maybe I need to slow down here. Maybe I need to think about it more, or more wisely, in a more slow pace. You're working with? Working patience. And what? Patience, working experience, because now you have that experience. You say, because next time when that same situation comes, you're better equipped to handle it. Better equipped to solve it, because you be like, okay, I've been here before. I've been here before.
Then it says experience hope. So through that experience, like, we're hoping more and more each and every day. It's also said we glory in the tribulations, respecting the process. We're happy about the process, because we, like, the Lord already, like, when you have your blueprints for a house, you already know what it's gonna look like. You don't know the blueprints are kind of like a trailer, but you ain't walked in it yet. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the Lord, brotherly love, and we read about the the minute things, the things that the Lord got coming. Like, we glory in there. We're like, okay, we're respecting the process. You started to go through, like, you in the gym. So you started looking at, after like 2-3 weeks, you started looking in the mirror like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we started to respect but we respect the process. We've always, to the best of our ability, to the great spirit, power of Yahweh Shem Shai, we respect the process. We glory in the tribulation, because we know that the Most High and Yahweh Shai is dealing with us.
And that process is slow, because you had to go through a couple things. It says you had to go through what? You got to go through tribulation, that work of patience. Then it gives you experience, and that experience gives you hope. You're going through a process. You know.
I said you refine. That's how it's gold. You try this gold, try and refine the silver. You know, that's a process. Putting it in there, heating it up, letting it get to that certain heat, bringing it back out, molding it, sticking it back in there, heating it back up again. It's a process when you're refining those metals. And what did the Lord make the prophet? The tester of metals. You know,
because you can't say you can't pick up. Nobody ain't gonna want no ore, and you just tell them that it's gold. It might be a gold ore, but you have not refined it. You haven't gotten that gold out. You know, and that's someone that ore is someone is that quick. It's that quickness. It's that quick inheritance. But that pure gold, that's work, that's fashion. What? That's that slow inheritance. Because you have to go through that process. You know?
Yep.
You can give me Luke chapter 16, verse 10.
This is the book of Luke chapter 16, verse 10, Yahweh Shah speaking. And he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much.
You see, you having that you being faithful in this little thing, it's gonna show how much you're gonna be faithful when he lets you receive that greater thing. But someone who's not faithful with this small amount, you know, who haven't been taken care of, been mindful in this small amount, he's not gonna be faithful, be a just a wise ruler once he get that large amount. You know, that's like a nigga was money is still a nigga. You know, if he was messing up when he had just $20 in his pocket, he's gonna be messing up if he has more.
I think the Edomite voice on the video. They used to when Jake started, they used to call Jake monkeys. And then Jake started getting the Cadillacs. He said, now he's just a monkey in a Cadillac. You know? That was just back at what you were saying.
Now you need to become wiser for something greater. You have to go through all that experience so you be able to handle that greater thing you've been praying for. But people they be praying like, I want this position. I want this amount. Can you handle that? Can you handle that amount? Can you handle that position? Let's see.
Because when you start thinking like, you know, the Cadillacs and houses and cars and money, all this material stuff, man, all that shit's minute, man. You know, that shit mean nothing. I mean, ultimately all that shit come quick because it go fast. You know, look at the average lifespan of money nowadays. What I mean by lifespan, I mean when it come into your pocket and leave your pocket because of how much shit going on. Look at the average lifespan of all this material shit, man. But we talking about the slow inheritance. That's everlasting, man. The inheritance from Yahweh Shema Shai is everlasting.
Because we're growing into being rulers. You know, if the Lord were to give you the kingdom like that time before you repented, you had to end up with the kingdom. You've been messed up. You'll be just like Esau.
Kicked out same day.
You'll be just like Esau. You'll be making wars. You'll be committing adultery. Like, I'm a king. I can take his wife. Nah. You're just gonna end up being wicked. You're gonna end up being a wicked ruler who has his kingdom destroyed. But now that you have to go through this process, the refining process, you know, of being a wise ruler, it takes time and patience. You want it, but there's still things that Yahweh Shema Shai is working within you before you receive it.
Because it's afflicting on every level. You know, the physical level, we get sick, injuries, you know, this brittle, tender ass body we in. You know, then, you know, spiritually you're fighting every day. You know, then you're going out every day seeing all this bullshit go unchecked, man. You got moles around, you got niggas thinking it's cool to label another man's wife, man. Nah, we got to get up out this motherfucker, man.
Man, you see, and what all this comes from experience. We're experiencing it, you know. Now we're hoping for something greater since we got that wisdom from that experience.
Mm-hmm. And when the kingdom, when we see that, 'cause, you know, the nation of Israel gonna be perfect. Ain't gonna be ain't gonna be no sin in the nation of Israel. But amongst the heathens, we're gonna have to judge them. You know, when we see that, nah, nigga, that shit gotta go, gotta get cut off. Nah, bring that nigga here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shit, Rick, he'll be back in a little bit, but that everything gonna have to be checked to the standard and the laws according to what Yahweh Shema Shai said.
What's that term they have when you study for a test in one night? Like you didn't study at all?
Cramming.
Cramming. You see, the difference from learning throughout the year and cramming is that when you learn throughout the year, you're retaining. But when you cram, you don't retain as much.
Not even that. I mean, on top of that, you're gonna miss over so much vital information. You don't have time to sit there and like just, you know, go through it step by step and, you know, rest. Then, you know, evaluate, come back to it, and, you know, you try to pack it all in there. It's just like if you wait the last minute to pack something. 9 times out of 10, there's something you might forget. You know,
that's why that slow inheritance. That's why Yahweh Shema Shai is teaching us patience. So what? So we may retain. You know, retain what we learn and grow from there. You know. So with that, we hope y'all was edified. Again, we would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing. Shalom.
Shalom.